Hi guys, and welcome back to Sudio. So recently I have really been getting into podcasts. Podcasts for women, podcasts for mums, podcasts for entrepreneurs and small creative businesses. Basically everything I love. So today I thought I would go through my top favourite podcasts that I listen to most days. So I have managed to narrow them down into my favourite ones, the ones that are really interesting, really informative, funny, that every single week produce consistently great podcast content. Podcasts are great if you've got a newborn baby, or in fact any age baby for that matter, and you are walking them around the streets in the buggy or pushchair. You can just pop these in your headphones and listen to them on the go. If you are jogging, if you are working from home, or maybe if you're driving to work, podcasts are just a great thing to listen to, a bit like audiobooks. That mean that time is not wasted and you're not maybe listening to music or scouring the internet. You're actually doing something really productive by listening to the podcast. And if you're new around here, then hi, I'm Sally and welcome to Sudio. I upload new videos every single week on kids, cakes and crafts, or things there and thereabouts. And I would love to have you join this community. Please do hit subscribe below to catch the next video coming up next week. And if you like this kind of thing, then please click the thumbs up button below so I know that you've liked it and I know to make more videos like this. And leave me a note in the comments and let me know if you've ever listened to any of these podcasts I'm going to mention before, or if you haven't and you've got some other favourites, then please do leave those down below so other people can listen to them too. For this video, I've been working with Sudio, who have kindly sent me some gorgeous headphones. Mine are the Vasa Bla style, and they are white and rose gold, which I have been testing out in the last week. They are wireless, they are Bluetooth, you just pair them up with your phone once they're charged, and they last for 9 hours. If you like the look of these headphones and you'd like to grab some for yourself, then I've got a 15% off code. I'll put the link to the website in the description below. The code you need to use is HelloSoSalio15. The headphones come in this really cool looking box. It's really modern, looks a bit like an iPhone type box. It comes with a USB charger and a really nice white leather case to keep them in, a rose gold clip, and also a variety of different pieces to put on top of the headphones to fit into your ears. I suppose if you've got really big ear holes or something. These are really quite comfy and soft and do stay in your ears really well. The wires themselves on the headphones aren't round like the headphones with the iPhone. They're actually flat, which means that they don't get tangled at all. And they're also not that long, which means they fit nicely into the pouch, and also they're not getting in the way and getting mixed up and tangled with loads of other stuff. There's a really lightweight control panel on one of the wires with rose gold buttons, and the headphones themselves fit really nicely either in front of your face, or if you were jogging, just around the back of your neck, and then they sit really neatly in your ears and don't get in the way. The sound quality is fantastic. These are the best headphones I've ever had. Not that I'm some kind of headphone expert, but I'll definitely be continuing to use these to listen to podcasts on the school run. So if you'd like to find out more or see any more of the specifications, then please click the link below in the description and head over to the website where you can see these exact headphones and also some of the other styles that Sudio have. Okay, so my first favourite podcast, which I listen to when I'm working from home for motivation and inspiration, is called How I Built This with Guy Raz. I read about this via an interview in Stylist magazine. He asks all the right questions, he finds out all the detailed info that you want to know. They are quite long, but they're so detailed, and he doesn't really miss anything out. Sometimes with other podcasts you're thinking, well hang on, how have they jumped from that to that in their story or their journey? But this covers absolutely everything. But also I know every single week with this one, the people that he interviews are so successful, they have so much to offer and so much wisdom and experience. He interviews some of the most famous, successful entrepreneurs on the planet. It's a really, really interesting one. So definitely check out How I Built This. My next favourite podcast is by a guy called Steve Chu. I used to always pronounce it Chow. Steve Chu, who actually runs an e-commerce course worldwide called Profitable Online Store. and he has a blog called My Wife Quit Her Job, which I used to read when I was a wife who wanted to quit her job. So the podcast is Steve Chew's My Wife Quit Her Job podcast, and he basically goes through everything that you need to know if you want to quit your job and start a niche e-commerce store from scratch. There is so much valuable free content on there. Also check out his blog and his website. It's amazing. There is so much new content on there. It's really, really helpful, and he talks in a really easy to understand way. That is my second favourite one, My Wife Quit Her Job. My third favourite podcast this year is Holly Tucker's Conversations of Inspiration. I was lucky enough to go to the Congregation of Inspiration in September 2018 and basically fell in love with Holly Tucker. If you don't know who she is, she was the co-founder of notonthehighstreet.com, and more recently she founded Holly & Co., which is a business which champions small creative businesses and is a site and a community for motivation, inspiration and help for small businesses. So on this podcast, it hasn't been going for that long, but it's literally like number one so far, I think in the small business rankings or reviews, but it's doing really well. And she has interviewed Julie Dean from the Cambridge Satchel Company, Molly Gunn from Selfish Mother, who else? Scampin' Dude, the guy from Cook, the frozen food company. I loved that episode. The Black Farmer and Johnny Bowden. But she's interviewed loads of other people, and every single week you can guarantee that there'll be something really interesting and really helpful. And at the end of each podcast, she gets the person she's interviewing to read out a letter that they've written to their former self. So that could be their former self when they are aged 5, 10, 25, whatever. It's always really emotional. It's really moving. I have cried quite a few times listening to this. And if you don't know of Holly Tucker, go and check her out, because the way she speaks to them, she's so encouraging and enthusiastic, and you can't help but get swept away in the interview and be inspired. Next up we have Fern Cotton's Happy Place podcast, and at the moment I'm listening to her interview with Alexandra Schulman, who is the former editor of Vogue magazine. Her interviews are really heartfelt, really raw, really honest, and Fern herself, while interviewing people, also talks about her own feelings and experiences, so it is definitely more like a really natural flowing conversation, and it's really inspiring. It's just a really easy listen. It's described as Fern talking to incredible people about life, love, loss and everything in between, and finding out what happiness means to them. Next up is Giovanna Fletcher's Happy Mum, Happy Baby podcast, which follows on from her best-selling book of the same name. Giovanna's interviewed loads of really high-profile mums about the highs, lows, challenges and rewards of motherhood. It's really refreshing, honest take without being preachy and judgmental. It tackles really serious issues about miscarriage, breastfeeding, trying to conceive, IVF, depression, anxiety, so many different important topics when it comes to mums. Often at times it's quite an emotional listen, and again I've cried at this one, but the people that she interviews I already love. So every single week I'm like, yep, I want to listen to her. She's interviewed Fleur de Force, Emma Willis, Louise Pentland, Jo Malone, Davina McCall and Clemmy Hooper. So go and check out Happy Mum, Happy Baby. If you're thinking about starting your own business, or you already run a creative business of any kind, then check out #Authentic by Sarah Tasker. This one is great for social media tips. She's kind of an Instagram star, expert. It's really good about marketing, self-doubt, pricing, motivation, inspiration. It's really, there's quite a lot about social media, but also she's got a small child, so kind of balancing being a mum and having childcare issues and trying to start a business from home, but also not being restricted by one particular job or career, having lots of different creative ventures, side hustles, and really just fulfilling your potential. Another really good podcast for small businesses, motivation, creative businesses is Letters from a Hopeful Creative, and this is with Jen Carrington and Sarah Tasker again. So they have different people write in with their problems and they basically answer them. So Jen Carrington is a kind of business life coach. Sarah Tasker, as I mentioned before, runs multiple businesses, and they give really great advice to the people that write in, and very often the questions they have are things that I'm already wondering, so it's really helpful. They describe each episode as a mini coaching session and pep talk, and some other amazing podcasts for mums or podcasts for entrepreneurs for inspiration that you might want to check out if you've also got time are Oprah's Masterclass, Make It Happen, Being Boss, hashtag Like a Girl, hashtag Mom's Got This, Well Made is another good one, and TED Talks are always fantastic. At Home With, which is with Lily and Anna, and of course the Dirty Mother Pucker podcast, which is always hilarious. So there you have it, my top favourite podcasts at the moment. I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. Please don't forget to subscribe below. Give the video a thumbs up and leave me a comment. Let me know which is your favourite podcast. If you've got any recommendations for me, I'm always on the lookout for new podcast content. Thanks again, and I'll see you next week. Bye.